In today's video, we're gonna continue a series that we started on last week on how do we man up. On last week, phase one was realigning. Realignment is very important. It's just like you have a car, you take it in, it's not running right, and say, okay, you need a alignment. You doing this, trying to keep it in your lane, and you oversteering, right? Okay, you take it in, you get it realigned. Okay, that's cool, but phase two is recalibration. Now we got to get this motor calibrated to running right. So then once you get it back on the road, you already got it aligned and it's holding in the road. Now you can calibrate and go farther, right? That's what this stage is. So on last week, just to do a little recap, phase one was realignment, but step one of phase one was the one last cry and acknowledging where we were mentally, physically, financially, spiritually. And step two was to sleep on it at a specific time, let the pineal gland secrete the melatonin as you thought on the things you had to think on. And step three was to wake up and stretch in your meditation and to have a different mindset and spirit about the next phase of your life, right? So in phase two, in the calibration, step one is detachment. In life, people come in your life gone, whether it's your parents, whether it's relatives, whether it's spouse, whether it's friends, whether it's at school. People come in your life and some are going to be leaving your life, right? For whatever reasons. Some intentionally and some unintentionally. But either way, you still have to deal with it, right? So in this particular phase, we're going to deal with adjusting to changing conditions. And the first step is detaching. And the reason this is important because you're going to see what belongs to you versus what belongs to others. And we're going to learn to release the resentment because everyone has their own choice, right? And forgiving people, you have to understand that the person doesn't have to be there and participate in the forgiveness for you to give it to them. It's just a step for yourself to get to a place in your life where you can move on. Recognizing your triggers and rearranging, don't let those triggers rearrange your life. Your emotions are not your change, your fears, your anxiety, your anger, your worries. You can't let these things chain you down, and you're going to have to adjust to change the conditions or they will chain you down. And you have to acknowledge this, right? All these things, fear, anxiety, anger, worry, this is external chaos. And you cannot let that be a reason for you to lose your focus. That's not a reason to crash out, right? You got to stay focused. Get focused, stay focused. And then in phase two, you have to build a sanctuary within. This step is a step a lot of times we leave out as young men. A lot of times we're not taught to go within. Jesus explained it like this. Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. If someone say, lo, he's over here, don't believe it. If they say he's over here, don't believe it. He said the kingdom of God is within you. So his disciples said, teach us how to pray. He said, he acknowledged God first. Our Father, which is in heaven, holy is your name. After that acknowledgement, thy kingdom come. This is why this is so important. This kingdom is within you and you got to get connected to it. What is man? Man is a God with a flaw, right? You have this flaw of disbelief, right? We are all God's children of the Most High God. That's what David was saying. But we have this flaw as men. We have this flaw of disbelief, right? Men and women. So this is what we have to acknowledge to get better at it. Because you, at this point, you building a sanctuary within, and it's going to take you to have a relationship with something bigger than yourself. You know how you were young, you used to see people fighting like they fighting down the street, right? I've experienced this where I seen this guy, he was getting dogged out. This guy was beating him up down the street, so he ran home, right? And the guy followed him. Some of y'all already know how this story go. He got to his house, and the guy came into his yard, and all of a sudden he began to fight differently, and he beat the guy that was beating him down the street. But you're not gonna beat me in my own yard. Why? My belief system is different. Once you believe, you fight differently, and that's what we need in this world. We need to know that something is bigger than us, because that's gonna allow us to fight differently. We're gonna have more patience of something good is coming, even though something has left, something else is coming. So building this sanctuary within, you begin to know that time is your currency. How are you spending your time, right? A lot of times we use our time to hide in our distractions. We all do it, but that's something we got to get better at. Instead of getting distracted from going within, we can't be afraid to go within, right? Sometimes, because when you go within, a lot of times you got to be alone. And we don't want to be alone, and we don't want to face the dragons, right? But that's where you're going to find your true self, and that's where things are going to really begin to change for you. We all have to go through that stage. There's no way around. Some call it shadow work, whatever you call it, you got to go within, right? And you have to accept that, these changing conditions. And at that point, that's where you get to your freedom. Because now it's self-acceptance. You don't have a need to be approved by anyone, right? You don't need to be right. You need to be calibrated. Because a lot of times you may go through something and you may try to explain something to people, and you want to be heard and you want to be understood. And they say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But at some point you will get to a place where you don't need to be right. It doesn't matter what the outside person says.